Okay.
Lakshman sir,
Ah,
Professor sir is muted, sir. That's why he is unable to speak.
he can
He is
unmute.
muted.
No, he can
There.
unmute.
He will join later. Please go on, Lakshman.
He can unmute. He can unmute himself, I suppose. I'll check 1 minute.
Okay. Okay.
I'll check. Okay, right. Right. Now I'm taking privilege to introduce today's speaker. Dr. R. Venela is our speaker today. Dr. Venela is an assistant professor in English at the National Institute of Technology, Warangal, India. She is a former Commonwealth Scholar for the Split Site PhD program at the Center for Applied Linguistics, University of Warwick, United Kingdom. She submitted her PhD in University of Hyderabad in the field of the history of bilingual English language learning and teaching in India. Her research interests include bilingual education, language policy, translation, lexicology, and the history of language education in India. Her research publications are in the area of bilingual education and its history in India. She is currently a co-investigator under the English Language Teaching Research Mentorship Scheme conducted by British Council in India. So this is a brief introduction about our speaker of today. Madam, now before you are going to start, I like to invite our state president, Mr. T. Venkateshwar Rao, to speak of one word. I mean, a few words about you, this meeting. Venkateshwar Rao, sir, please unmute yourself and say a few words.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, all the participants. Really, it is a great opportunity to have your presentation with our teachers. Almost 60 above participants have joined so far. We are all planning for online paper presentation in the next week. But the topic which you are taking will be helpful to our teachers. And your presence in the last NIT conference made us much benefited. So on bilingualism, right, ma'am? With that, we have taken an opportunity to take involved in this program. Thank you, madam. Welcome to this program. Please, you may start the program, your presentation. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Madam, please
sir.
start. Yes, you can go ahead, madam.
Thank you, Lakshman sir, Venkateshwar sir, and all the team of ELTA Warangal. It is such a great learning experience when we met at the workshop. We had a small workshop for specifically for government school teachers, English school teachers at NIT Warangal a couple of months back during March 9th, right before the lockdown. And our goal was to talk about how L1, that is Telugu, can be used effectively for teaching English. So it was a wonderful learning experience for me and my colleague, my co-researcher Kandaraja, who was handling the project. I feel that this kind of collaboration where I'm given the opportunity to come speak to teachers who are training to be researchers is a great learning opportunity for me also. And thank you for the kind introduction, Lakshman sir. So without any more introductions, can we start off? Yes?
Madam, you can, please go ahead.
Lakshman sir, I'm going to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and towards the end of the talk, can we take the questions towards the end of the talk?
Yes, madam, yes.
Sure,
yes.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we can, as in when I'm talking, if you would like to post your questions or comments or any kind of discussion you would like to do on the chat box, I'll be looking at that also. By the end of the session, I'll try to cover as many questions as I can. So without further ado, let me quickly share my screen.
Okay, madam.
Give me one moment. I'm trying to pull up the file. For some reason, it's not showing on the. Um, yeah. Okay. So today we are going to talk about how to write a research paper. Most of us know how to write a research paper already. So we are going to brush up through a lot of basics and then review the structures of the research paper, the important aspects which go into writing an abstract, and where we can send these abstracts. Where exactly can we send these? Into what kind of academic spaces and academic scholarship are we going to access and send and share our reports, research reports, etc. Now, before I begin, I would like to highlight that this talk that I have prepared for, I'm going to mainly focus on teachers who are training to be researchers or already who are researching into research. That is school teachers or college teachers who are training to be researchers. Now, these are the objectives of today's talk. First, we are going to revisit the importance of classroom research, where I'm sure previous webinars in ELTA Telangana web series, the webinar series may have emphasized the importance of classroom research. We are going to quickly revisit these points. Secondly, we are going to emphasize on the practice of writing about our classrooms. Third, converting research into written research. Fourthly, understanding the structures of research papers and abstracts. This is the point that we are going to allocate maximum time in this talk. Exploring academic spaces, scope for teacher research writers. That is where we can send our research to, what kind of journals, to what kind of networks do we connect to, etc. We all know these networks. We are already on Facebook or Twitter accessing these spaces, but let's again highlight them and discuss about them. Lastly, outlining the implications of teacher research for ELT in India. Okay. Yeah. Firstly, why pursue classroom research? One aspect is we already are preparing for our classes. We do grading. We do a lot of work besides teaching, preparing for the classes, administrative work, attendance. So beyond this, what is the point of pursuing classroom research? First and foremost is genuine curiosity. Some of us are driven by that curiosity, which helps us throw light on ground up perspective. There, which brings us to the second point, where we are not talking from an armchair and then reflecting on something, and as where we are not assuming and we are going on the field to study existing teaching and learning practice. That is where I think teacher research carries more weight than any other researchers who step into a teaching learning situation. Uh, it also aids in developing a theory of language learning and teaching. Lastly, it drives professional development, our professional development also. It helps us adapt to new techniques of teaching in light of dynamic learning context. So here in my teaching and learning context, there were so many emails we received about online, about adapting to online teaching, but we never got to it. Some of us, some of my colleagues and me, but COVID-19 really propelled our adaptability skills. So these dynamic learning contexts definitely do drive us, but apart from such extenuating circumstances, sometimes we see mixed proficiency students who incite or really give us that motivation to innovate in class, which brings us to the point of why write about our classrooms. So when we write about our classrooms, we also know that we are identifying the good practices. We are again and again with a fine eye, we are trying to look at what we are getting right. We are trying to innovate, modify, and actually reinforce these good practices. And we can also share these outputs. If it's a blog post, if it's a small Twitter post, if it's a Facebook post, any sort of that shareable output, including a research paper or an abstract, we can share this with someone. So if you ask me how I'm handling high proficiency and low proficiency students in one class, even if I tell you during multiple instances over time, say 10 times I tell you, still you can't share that output to somebody else. So if I give you a report or maybe a small written output, it is readily shareable with other stakeholders, where you can compare, find similarities, differences. So this is where peer teacher associations like ELTA, ELTA Telangana, INET is another important organization where we can find similar patterns. Some of us are already a part of INET and you have attended conferences, I'm sure. So lastly, documented recorded research for future use, not too far in the future, not 10 years later or 100 years later, just 2 batches after the current teaching or 3 batches later. If you're called in for a textbook revision, we will be in a better space to plan a large scale implementation or even a local level change in the syllabus design or material development, whichever level it is, innovation. So far, I'm audible and everything is fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, madam.
Yeah.
Everything
I'll
is
go on.
fine.
Okay.
Great. Okay.
It's okay, ma'am. It's okay.
Okay. Perfect.
Carry on.
What exactly to research in English language classrooms? So that this is a question even PhD scholars, we are confused about which particular research topic to choose when we are choosing ELT as our research field. We can investigate listening, speaking, reading, writing styles and strategies adopted by students, adopted by teacher, mentors, in-service teachers, anybody. Then language proficiencies, vis-a-vis reading speed, reading comprehension, grammar, word choices, what kind of word choices the students are picking up, antonyms, synonyms, or given an easy text, what is the reading speed? Given an intervention, how is the reading speed before and after? All these kinds of research ideas, research projects are quite interesting. Then extrinsic and intrinsic motivation, attitudinal factors. That is, if somebody is scared of English, somebody is feeling that English is a very prestigious language, or maybe my L1, which is Telugu, is not that prestigious. It lacks language status. So, what kind of such attitudes? How do they contribute to my motivation to learn a language? How are they contributing, impeding, etc. The last point is also quite important, where language, community, ethnicity, caste, gender, and age. So all these social linguistic factors could also be studied in our own classrooms. Now moving further, I just borrowed a few samples from real-time websites. The yellow colored background sample and the blue colored sample. See, the yellow sample is from, this is from a journal website. The blue colored sample is from a conference call, a previous conference call. Now, I would like us to do a small review. These are a selection of topics that, so going back to the slide, we can choose the topics. Sometimes we are given an inventory of topics, a cafeteria of topics where we can respond with our interest, see if our classroom context matches with these calls. Okay, this is equally an effective method to choose a project topic. Now, let's do a quick review of the topics that are given in the yellow color sample. I would like to ask the audience a couple of questions for them to observe. Firstly, is there a specific focus in these topics? Yes or no? If yes, what is the specific focus? What kind of focus is there in this yellow color sample over here, where I'm scrolling? You can post your reflections in the chat box. Let me quickly pull up the chat box.
Madam, here is a problem. Most of them are using the mobiles as there is no power. There is a power cut. So that they cannot view your screen properly. Means, it is not visible. They cannot read it out.
Oh, I'm so sorry. But then I can still wait for
Yes,
a couple of seconds.
if possible, you may read it out. Otherwise,
yes.
just assume it.
Okay, so
No.
yes, from yellow color, I'll be giving.
No, sir. It is possible to zoom out the screen so that you can read.
Yeah.
Just use
Madam,
your fingers
can I
to
read?
zoom.
Can I read?
That's okay.
Somebody
this is Mr.
better do one thing. Ask somebody to read it out.
Yes.
This is fine.
Shall
I can read it out. I'm going to go ahead and read.
Madam, here is a participant ready. Madam,
Shall
there is
I,
a participant
madam?
ready. He
Go
wants
on,
to
go
read it
on.
out.
Yeah.
Allow him.
What to research in English language classrooms? Process of material development. Oh, sorry, madam, excuse me. Just hold on.
So may I?
Ma'am, you can continue. Otherwise, ask the participants to use fingers to zoom out. You can read the screen. No problem,
Okay.
even you are using mobile phones.
Is that okay? Should I go ahead and read that out? That's no problem.
Yes, madam, continue.
Yes, madam.
Okay.
Yes, madam.
Go
So
ahead.
process of materials development, selection, adaptation, evaluation, and production. That's the first bullet point. Second is materials for integrated language learning. Third bullet point, need for teacher training in materials development. Fourth bullet point, from theory to practice, real classroom transactions. Fifth point, materials for distance education, blended learning. Sixth point, needs-based materials production, some case studies. Seventh point, materials for specific purposes, ESP, EAP, etc. Eighth point, materials for socially and physically disadvantaged children. Last point, teachers as material developers, boon or bane. Now, as many of you also have pointed on the chat, we can see that content and useful material development is highlighted here. Material development is the focus. That is the theme of this journal call. So we can also look at how this particular theme is focused in this journal call. Now let's look at the blue colored sample. Here we see another inventory of list of topics. Now, is there a specific focus on these topics? Is there a specific focus here? Yes,
Second
no?
part is based on the classroom-based action research. Most of
Why
them.
do you feel that the first one is not based on classroom? Yes?
They are not directly related, but here it is the children and the student teachers are involved. Here the stakeholders like a management, material production, those people are involved.
I'm going to disagree on that because see, materials for socially and physically disadvantaged children can also be developed by teachers, materials for specific purposes or ICT or integrated language learning, where teachers also can be involved, where learners can be taken into discussion, where you are following a looped mechanism. We call that when you're doing research with respondents, we call it the Delphi technique, where you're time and again going them with questions and collecting their opinions and then making modifications. So that kind of consultative material development it is what we do actually. So teachers as material developers, boon or bane. Again, we see that teachers are becoming material developers. So that is not the point I wanted all of us to notice. I would like us to attend to the point where the journal call has focus on material development and this blue color sample has more of a broad theme. So they are welcome for us to submit any topic, have subtopics. For example, the third bullet point on the left side, it has materials and course books, where all the topics in the yellow color sample can be subsumed under that one bullet point, materials and course books. So choosing a topic can be done on your own or in response to a call from a journal or from a conference. Reviewing relevant literature. What kind of studies are you going to pick, etc., can be done by Google search. You can choose keywords if reading comprehension is your problem or the point that you're interested in. You can do a Google search or team up with a couple of colleagues where teamed research also can help us draw out relevant literature, or you can also take the help of an academic researcher where you can be brought up to speed instead of going back to 1950s, reading from 1950s to 2020. That definitely will not bring down the quality of research, but will help you save time. Are we going to take a quantitative sample using mathematics, statistics to describe, to measure what we are looking at in the classroom. Then we are going to define the scope of our research. In my case, I can say that I'm only going to study university students, that too these speakers, Gujarati speakers. I may choose to ignore those perspectives, but that will not make my study generalizable or valid. For a good study, we may have to make our study more generalizable. Now, I'm quickly moving through these points to reach our core where we are looking at the structures of a research paper. Okay. You can post your questions on the chat box if any. Now, formulating your research questions. This, this set of questions are, I have borrowed these questions from a teacher researcher's research paper. This is a colleague. So, what are that affect learning? That is the students' learning. What are the different reasons students think about? That is the problem where they. What are the different reasons teachers? The students are not able to read properly. Why can't they read fluently? So some of us have combination.
Hello, hello, madam. Sorry for the interruption. Only 1 minute. Dear participants, please mute all of you because I have lost the host rights right now. Please cooperate with the speaker. Please mute all of you. Okay, please.
Sure. Will I be able to mute?
Yeah, madam. Yeah.
Not really,
Continue.
right?
You please continue. Yeah.
Okay, I don't think I'll be able to mute all either. Okay, kind request from the organizers. I may kindly mute everyone. I see that most of us have muted ourselves. Okay, now I'll go on. So going back to the chat box. Okay, analyzing, thinking, dissemination. I think it's throughout. Like Sayuja has pointed out, it's throughout. Pre-planning, that is thinking stage and designing stage, is quite instrumental for writing a good research paper. It is good, it is very important for devising a very clear-cut, organized, structured project also. But for writing a research paper like we're going to see, it's very important to do the planning even before we go towards data collection. There are many things that can go wrong when we are collecting the data, where we have to devise alternatives on the job on hand, but still it is a good idea to have a rough plan, very structured plan, not really a rough plan, before we go in for data collection, which will correlate directly towards a good research paper. Now, how do we compile research in ELT classrooms? For a research paper, the data is going to come from our classroom. So I maintain a researcher's diary where I just sit down, where there is no intervention. I don't intervene. I write a researcher's diary. I note down what the teacher is doing, what the students are doing. Or if I am the teacher, I write a reflective journal of what I have done, what the students have responded with, etc., etc. What are the feedback cycles, etc. Custom made checklists. If I want to observe how grammar proficiency has improved, maybe after 10 sessions of grammar classes, I would want to make a checklist of what are the grammar points, irregular verbs, regular verbs, nouns, okay, or collective nouns, possessive pronouns, etc. So I would like to make a checklist of that particular, which is quite related to that research problem. Video recordings, answer scripts of students, test scores, questionnaires collected from parents, teachers, other students, etc. Parents, learner, interview transcripts. Interview transcripts are where you transcribe the interviews. I'm sure we may have done that already as part of our work. I've seen a few transcripts from colleagues. Vindhyadhar Raju sir has shared a paper that he's written where he has extensively used a few excerpts from the transcripts. So we also have an image where I have tried to show how research paradigms, going back to this slide, the fourth one, you are exploring research paradigms in the context of our classroom research. How do we square down on a research paradigm? With this, this is a very simplistic understanding of how we can design our study. So if our design is experimental, that is, I'm choosing section A and section B, I'm trying to figure out how grammar proficiency has increased after 10 lessons of grammar, 10 sessions of grammar for section A. For section B, I have not conducted 10 sessions. How are the pre-test scores for section A, section B? How are the post-test scores for section A and section B? This is my research project. I want to know how, when given grammar classes, how improvement is showing, how it is not showing in the other scenario. This is a flawed experiment because definitely improvement will be there when you are giving somebody a lot of coaching. But keeping that aside, kind request again, and Mahender sir, Anuradha ma'am, please mute yourself. Mahender sir, kindly mute
madam.
yourself. Okay, I'm going to go on. Now, this is a point which is important for because in an experiment.
Sir, Mahendra sir, please mute yourself. Sorry,
I'm
madam.
very sorry, Mahendra sir, but I'm trying to look at this point where we are talking about triangulation. Triangulation as in where we are also talking about making our research more standardized, where we are trying to make our research design, measurement, and analysis as parallel and as standard as possible. So if we are using such experimental procedure where I'm giving one treatment to one group and one treatment to another group, I'm going to measure using quantitative measures, that is statistical measures to check how the scores are, etc., and analyze them using statistical techniques. This sort of experiment is going to be called quantitative study, which is using an experimental research design, and the analytical procedures are done using statistical methods. That is my methodology or research design. That is how I'll be writing it in my paper. So when you're collecting your data itself, having this kind of clarity is quite just terminology. We can come down to the basics and clarify what we are trying to do. There is no need to use always the words qualitative, quantitative, experimental, naturalistic, etc. But our descriptions must be clear about what we are attempting to do. Now, so that is also a sign of a clearly written research paper. Now we're coming to how to turn our thoughts, our collected notes, data, questionnaires, everything into written research. Actually, when we do, I'm sure most of my colleagues who are into research now, Vidyadhar Raju sir and the others, I'm sure there are a lot of us who know this. When we do research, most of the research may not be included in the final product. We may not be able to convey all that information in our research paper. So that is a definite given. We are going to select representative phenomena for our research audience and research readers. For that, the first step is identifying parameters in research literature. We have 10 studies or 5 studies that we have looked at. We are going to identify the parameters. For example, I'm going to study how low proficiency students are using Telugu to assert their confidence I'll have to make a decision on which particular aspect to include in my own study. Okay. Next, reflecting on the process of data collection. That is directly going to be meta collection procedure section. When we are reflecting on the process of how we have collected the we may feel that scientists, but we are working with human subjects. We are working with young children where they are one of the vulnerable communities where photographing them or videographing them can be dangerous for them. So we must at all times obtain informed consent from their parents if they are a minor, from the organizations, and we must divulge that in our research paper. There must be a section where we must divulge what sort of ethics procedures they followed. Now, let's come to the point where we are talking about structures of a research paper. Let me quickly move to a model of research paper that I have pulled up. So there are two models that we have here. One is from a colleague who has been kind enough to share his paper. Vinayadar Raju Pratikantam is working in ZPH school in Telangana. He has shared his paper with me for us to look at how a research paper can be structured, which is based on classroom research. So abstract, we have keywords, then followed by introduction, rationale of the action research. We have main research questions, and then we have sub-research questions. We have location of the study, methodology. It's a mixed method study. Data collection, where students' data and teachers' data is given. The sample is explained. Background of the
Hello. Hello.
Hello, TV Rao sir. Hello.
It is interrupted, I think.
I think it is from madam side. Sir is okay. He's present in the meeting. I think there is no problem from
I'm
our
so
end.
sorry. Am I back on?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
madam,
okay,
yes,
madam
Yes,
is back.
madam, you're audible.
Madam is back.
you can.
I'm so sorry. My power went out, so I'm okay. So let me go back to Vinayadar Raju sir's paper, and then the background of the study has been clearly outlined. Tools used for data collection. He has specified that he's used online questionnaires created using Padlet. Data analysis is given. We have excerpts, like I said, from transcripts. Actual classroom data has been reported from student questionnaire, students' voice is given, teachers' voice is given. Then we have the reading strategies that have been outlined, where students found it difficult, but then reading strategy, lighting of eyes. So it definitely increases researcher credibility. It increases our own accountability towards our data. Then we have a list of references that the research data has used. Let's move to another model here. Everybody is still with me? Yes? I'll go on.
Yes, madam.
Yes,
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am,
yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead.
You can.
Okay. Okay. Now this is another publication from IHFL. This is an international network where I'll be discussing our academic spaces where we can access and interact with other colleagues. So this is one of the international spaces where we can send our research reports. IATFL, this is an advanced publication with the most recent issue. So this teacher is working at the university level, and they are talking about collaborative writing. That is, I'm sitting at my computer, one student, you are sitting at your computer. We are given an argument, both are writing, and in 50 minutes. So two such pairs are, they are using collaborative. It could be structured the readability. Yes, really points. This paper states why the problem is important. Firstly, it defines something called languaging. It is using the word languaging in the title. Languaging is simply where the students are discussing about the rules and concepts of any task we are giving, or any kind of homework that we are giving, or just about a language concept. So if we tell them what noun is, if they discuss about language, about writing own sentences, if they are discussing about the task itself, the rules of the homework, even that is languaging. Now they are defining this keyword. Key terms must be defined in the introduction so that I'm able to understand what the research writer is talking about. That's the first point. Secondly, why the problem that they are addressing is important is also highlighted. So here the problem is specified over these two lines. Many students are focusing on meta language. The problem with focusing on meta language is less attention is placed on learning opportunities emerging from students' language about writing at a discourse level. They have identified the research problem, and now from the current part, they have outlined what they're going to do. If we see this, at the end of every section, they are going to give a signpost, like a baton, like a relay baton. They are giving us that signpost time and again. Building on previous research, this study takes a closer look at languaging episodes about both language and discourse that occur when students completed a collaborative writing activity. I'm going to skip over the words discourse, etc., because we can still understand what the researcher is talking about. Based on previous research, I'm going to look at collaborative writing activity. That is the point here. Here we are, it could have been a little better where the study is classified under methodology. The methodology is sometimes called the study or the research design, or say methods, where the sample is described, participants are described, and the learning context is described. Here, Ben and Katie is one pair. Venita and Melinda are Hindi speakers. Ben and Katie are Cantonese speakers. Their L1 background is described. Their language proficiency is described. Are they really good at English? Are they medium level in English, etc.? Also, what kind of collaborative orientation do they have with each other? Okay. So these are a few points they have drawn. And for this last point that I'm still highlighting, they are depending on review of literature. So their systematic review of literature is helping them identify how two students can be clubbed together. Okay, so if one student is really high in proficiency, one student is really low, can they be clubbed together? That information can be provided by previous studies. Based on that, we can make a decision, devise parameters, and then choose whether to club those students or bring another pair and replace the student with another pair, another dyad. So now we are moving to method section, where some aspects are lacking here. We are falling short of clearly specifying the study design. Very briefly, maybe it could be the word count that is restricting them from making a more elaborate discussion on this. And then we have sample and population chosen are very clearly described. They also describe the task clearly. Each pair wrote an argumentative essay in 50 minutes on university laptops through a keystroke logger application called Input Log that recorded the processes involved in the Microsoft Word document. Now, we are moving to data analysis. When the students are discussing with each other, audio is recorded. So if I'm talking to you and telling you, so what topic are we going to write about now? I don't have any ideas. What is the teacher talking? She's given us a very difficult topic. Such informal conversations are recorded, and these sections are what are called languaging. Again, they are choosing two themes, two main functions for which languaging is used. Again, that parameter is drawn from previous literature, Spain and Lapkin. They've drawn it from there. Two main functions, language related and emerging themes. I would suggest that you do not study about these things. That is, it is not necessary that we understand each term that we are looking at this point, but it's enough if we understand the structure of the research paper, because that is our intention of looking at this paper in such great detail, right? Now, under this, under analysis, they are describing how these students talk to each other using 5 main headings and subheadings. Okay, then they have skipped. So now we have covered introduction, methods, data analysis. Now discussion is one section they have skipped over. They could have very well included a small paragraph on discussion where they could have stated the main findings, but here they have the Cantonese pair and the Hindi speaking pair's findings are reported individually. A discussion section will have, and incidentally they have connected this research study to, and they have also been able to discuss main results with reference to previous research. But where I feel this section has fallen short, where they have jumped directly from data analysis to pedagogical implications instead of discussion. Discussion is not here. In this earlier model we have looked at, here we see that a clear analysis is given. Some bit of discussion is also given. Why are they drawing here? I'm sorry. Am I doing this? Yeah, okay. So,
Lakshman sir?
oh, sorry. Okay, I was just
Lakshman
thinking
sir?
I'm unwittingly doing
Okay,
this.
Hello,
okay,
Lakshman.
okay. Someone
Please
is,
annotate,
no, no,
annotate them. Annotate
yeah,
them.
yeah. No. Someone is doing. I am just erasing their drawings without interruption. Madam, I think you are just stop the using tool.
Okay, this one, the pointing tool. This one. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. So the discussion section is an instrumental section where you can also analyze the strengths and limitations of your research study. Again, this article is falling short on that, where the limitations are not clearly described, where something could have gone wrong, or the pairs are maybe they have not been able to complete the task, the collaborative writing task, etc. This is a good space where they could have discussed that. Again, that is a point for us to include in our own research papers. Offer perspectives for future work. Any kind of future research pointers for us, that also can be mentioned in a line or two. Here, references are again clearly outlined. This is again quite important. References are very important. Now, moving back to our presentation. So, how much time do we have? Can I go on?
Yes, madam. You can. How much time do you need? Madam?
I have 5 minutes more.
Okay. You can. Go ahead.
Fine?
Yes,
Okay.
fine.
So this is the structure of a research paper. I have 4 links here for you to explore all kinds of research papers. We have different structures of a research paper, but more or less we have IMRD format: introduction, methodology, results, or data analysis and discussion. IMRD or LMRD, which is literature, methodology, results or data analysis and discussion. Okay, so I'll post these links after my presentation. Basically, all the points, to collate all the points, these are the essential parts of a research paper, which is recommended by journals, and this one is recommended by LTI Journal of English Language Teaching under the LTI Teachers Association. You can find a more elaborate description on 46 to page 48 in the Jan to Feb 2020 issue. It's accessible for free. Anybody can log on to it. I'll post that link also. So here is the link. I'm going to post that along with the other information. So we have the title, abstract, introduction, literature review, rationale, techniques and tools, results, findings, conclusions, implications, and references. The only addition that we definitely can add is ethics. How we have followed ethical procedures is quite important. That addition also. Now, how do we write an abstract? Going to the first, this is quite important because we are living in a digital age and most of us are forced to read very quickly. When we send an abstract for a review, our paper is going to be judged based on the abstract. So people are going to review committees or a journal association or a conference committee is going to evaluate our abstract and see the merits and connect that to us to assess how our paper is going to be. So let's look at a few samples again. This is an abstract. Let's read this together. While learning the mother tongue, people never feel that they are learning a language, but while learning a foreign language, they become cautious. When language learners are asked to speak in English on a given topic, they try to speak, but they may not speak well or fluently due to lack of ideas, information, exposure, and confidence. Even to write a piece of composition, they need to get ideas. So they escape, avoid, or postpone due to scarcity of ideas. Owing to this, they lose confidence, they hesitate to speak, and show reluctance to write. It becomes inevitable to the learners of vernacular background to acquire communicative competence in English. Using online videos would be a better idea to motivate the learners of heterogeneous groups to enhance their communicative skills. The core of this approach is the more they see, the more they learn. The approach presented and discussed here will provide a platform to cater for learners to meet the needs of the present day world through the present article focuses on teaching speaking skills through group or teamwork. Now, what exactly is the first point that they are raising? They are raising the importance or emphasizing on the importance of. Anybody who would like to answer in the chat box? What is the emphasis on? What is the research writer asking us to notice in the abstract? See, this is important. What is the research writer trying to convey? Let me go to the chat box. Developing speaking skills, watching videos, motivating students to speak English using L1. Yes. So L1 background is emphasized, developing speaking skills is quite emphasized, and watching videos for that towards that purpose is also highlighted. What is not highlighted here is the research writer telling us how he or she is going to collect the information. Is the methodology clear? The data collection procedure? Do we have any information about that? No. That is going to be a problem because then the review committee is going to assume that we are not clear about what methodology we are going to follow. Definitely, it is showing the students videos, yes, but then what? Are we going to ask the students using questionnaires how they are feeling? Are we going to give them an exam or a small class test to show how they have improved? What sort of elicitation technique are we using? That information also will have to be divulged here. So the keywords also give us an idea what the abstract is about. Let's look at a few more samples. Okay, I'm going to again, this is going to be a little interactive if that's okay. So let's look at the first one. The objective of this paper is to know whether chunking strategy is effective in improving students' reading comprehension and their attitude towards learning using the strategy. This research focused on improving students' reading comprehension. The instruments used were reading text, pre-vocabulary sheet, and plenary sheet. The findings of this research showed that chunking strategy was effective in improving students' reading comprehension. This activity was successful in solving students' problem in comprehending a text. So they have used something called a chunking strategy, which proved effective in reading comprehension. Towards that purpose, they've used 3 instruments: reading text, pre-vocabulary sheet, plenary sheet. They say that the findings of this research showed that it is indeed effective, okay, in improving students' RC. Now, what are the points that are included here? I'm going to make a small inventory here, okay? So, research problem, yes, that's one. Then we have methodology, yes, that is also given. Methodology is not given, that could have been included. We have data tools, which are clearly specified. So we are in fact now making a small list of what can be included. So can somebody help me complete this list? What else is included? We can see that clearly in the first sample. We see, I'm going to go ahead and answer. Yes, we can find the answer in this line, over in the 4th line. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and, so we have findings. So all these points will have to be included in the abstract. So this is another abstract that we can go ahead with. Here, autoethnography is used as an approach. This paper is autoethnographic in its approach. In it, I have reflected on my experiences of learning to read Hindi in the past 2 years using text sent to me on social media, that is WhatsApp. In the paper, I'll attempt to answer 2 research questions regarding the actual letters in the Devanagari script that I found difficult or easy, and the types of text that I found difficult to comprehend. I will end the paper with a few implications for adult learning. Now, this structure defies all the points that we have included earlier. Still, it sets a background for the paper. However, it does not indicate clarity on the part of research writer. It is our responsibility as research writers to indicate clarity. Even though we are clear, we must also convince other review committees that we are indeed clear. Now, I'm going to move ahead to these samples. I think we're running short of time. I'll just put these samples out there for you to look at and analyze. Now, so what are the essential parts of an abstract? We've discussed a few structures. So, yeah. So these are a few points that we have looked at. Now, where do we send these abstracts? There are local bodies where we can discuss about our research ideas to begin with, where we submit these ideas for preliminary, I wouldn't say examination, preliminary discussion with our own colleagues. For example, we have a WhatsApp group for our own department, that is 4 or 5 teachers. We sit together. Sometimes I team up with a colleague and then discuss my ideas with a colleague and understand my own thought process. Next is national bodies, where you can send your ideas or written papers to portal LLTJ, Language Learning Teaching Journal, by Azim Premji University. We also have associations such as ELTA, INET, ELTA Telangana, local national bodies where you can also operations. We have international spaces where IATFL, USIEF, that is US Fulbright Scholarship Commission, RELO, British Council, all these bodies, where you can seek academic collaboration, where you are given funding, where you are given space to present your ideas. So for that, you can keep looking at the websites. Now, again, what to write, how to write, style sheets, what kind of topics these journals encourage us to send for. These are 3 good quality journals in India that we have. Portal is a good quality journal. It's blind, peer reviewed. And the second one with orange heading at the bottom is again by Azim Premji University, Language and Language Teaching. It has good editorial team. We can send our papers to these journals. The blue color vertical box is LTI journal again. It's called Journal of English Language Teaching. It is published 6 times a year. Even this has a rigorous review process. It's a good journal again, where it has a good reach, all these 3 journals. Ethics in academic writing. When we are winding up our papers, it's very difficult for us to play by the rules and ensure that we are doing quality research. I'm sure most of you already are doing this, but just to rehash these points, always provide references and acknowledge the source of your ideas. Avoid paid publications. If there is a processing fee or a publication fee, I would say avoid these kind of publication opportunities, because they, even though we publish in such spaces, it would not carry a lot of credibility towards that publication. It will be a waste of our time and resources and energy. So the third point is ensure that a conference and seminar is conducted by a legitimate, genuine organization. Lastly, obtain informed consent from all stakeholders before using research data in your paper. Informed consent is actually telling your students' parents, your colleagues, how you're going to use the data. Not telling them that you're going to collect the data, but telling them how you're going to use the data, for how long you'll use the data, for what purpose you'll be using the data. All these points must be divulged very clearly. If possible, a written informed consent form can be asked to be filled by the respondents. Then lastly, we come to the point of where we as teachers, specifically school teachers, are finding fulfillment as research writers, because it's a lot of work. With an already overburdened job, we are choosing to give our jobs more time. So a few implications from that, few beneficial effects from that is, firstly, to create a body of knowledge about teaching and learning practice in our own context. Secondly, we can induce policy level change, not from above, where directions are coming always from a big high level organization, but we are trying to send a message from our classrooms that this is working, this is not working. Yes. Third, we can become adept and skilled at reporting a research, where we show that, yes, I can talk about my classrooms quite effectively in various conferences in a structured, organized manner. Lastly, bridging grassroots research to academic scholarship. So we are combining classroom research, which is highly data driven and rich in description, to academic scholarship, where they are serious book writing or journal writing is there. We are trying to both of this together. So that is it from me. For questions and discussion, do we have time? Yes.
Yes, madam. Yes. We
So I'm going to now.
we can take questions if participants have any questions. Dear participants, please ask if you have any questions to the speaker in very brief manner. Okay.
Yeah.
May I?
Yes.
Lakshman sir, I'm Asha Purna.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Good
Asha.
evening, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, a quick on 3S, ma'am. Statement, sample, and sufficient data. Statement regarding that, fixing the statement or keeping on changing. Then coming to the sample, I'm worried that finding that my sample is too less, or rather, others being criticized at me. And then sufficient data is regarding that, either too much of data is available, it's like overwhelming, I'm taking too much in, or insufficient.
Would you like to, thank you ma'am for the question. Would you like to maybe share what sample you have chosen for
My
your
classroom
work?
itself. My classroom itself, 35 pupils.
35 pupils is a lot of work, I would say, because you'll have to
Fine.
look at their
Okay.
scores, their profiles, their L1 background, their age, their a lot of factors we accounted for, their even social backgrounds, what kind of L1 exposure they have. Do they speak English at home? Do they have TV? Do they have mobile phones? Depending on your
No.
research
Yeah.
problem, I feel that all this work is a lot, because creating 35 profiles and giving them equal, definitely a lot of work. And research statement, I don't think this can change, or this can be revisited too many times. Maybe a couple of times before data collection, yes. But once we decide on a research question, I'm not sure if that can be, um, the wording can be remodified, but the objective cannot change. Our research objective stays pretty much the same.
Okay, okay, I
Did
got
I
it. And
answer
I'm
your
satisfied
question?
with that. I'm satisfied with the
Okay.
sample question, ma'am. About the data. Sufficient data or
Sufficient
insufficient?
data.
Yeah.
So sufficient data or insufficient data, again, you can discuss this with a peer. Tell them that this is your research question. Does this answer my research questions? This is the information I've collected. And so far, I have this much of understanding about the classroom phenomena. So do you feel that this information, these answers answer this research question? So that
Okay.
sort of first testing waters may help us understand if we still have to collect more data or this is enough.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Liked your presentation.
Thank you. So,
Very good evening, madam.
good evening, sir. Hello.
Sir, I am Aragraj from Nizamabad, madam. Nizamabad.
Hello, sir.
Okay, madam. I have one question, madam. Actually, when we are doing a research, is it necessary to take a special classes? Means for every class we have to take a research, madam, from a 6th class to 10th class, or we have to take one research for one class, madam, 6th or 7th like that.
Any class, sir, even kindergarten, yeah, children who are still learning to acquire language in a formal setting also, from that point to any age, even geriatrics, people who are suffering from aphasia, they have had an injury and they're trying to, they've lost speech. Any kind of age group, any kind of setting is, we have a very open field for language teachers to explore. You may need not take special classes unless if your intervention is not going to be a part of the regular curriculum. I don't think, again, this will be more work for the teachers. If you're devising a research project where you are forced to do more work, instead of that, I would feel we can devise a research project where we are doing a regular work, regular coursework.
Okay. Right, madam. Thank you, madam. Okay.
Thank you. So I am going to, if there is some time, I'm going to go back to the chat box. Some questions are, please suggest good books that help us write papers. Definitely. Specify Indian Scopus Index journals. Such as bilingualism and bilingual education. We have many such journals. I'm not sure if they are managed by Indian editorial teams. They are by abroad people, but they're Scopus Index. I can share that information. Yes, they are approved by UGC. They are under care list. And the next question is, what are the basic steps of preparation to be followed before we start for selection of a topic? Again, a lot of collaboration, thinking, reflection. It's just with us, talking to ourselves, looking at the finding driven by genuine curiosity. If we are really curious about something, I feel that is a good place to start. The next part is collaborate with an academician or researcher and see if we can fast track our research, our readings, if we can get some help. I'm going to go back for any more questions.
Hello, madam. Sorry for the interruption. Hello, hello, madam.
Yeah.
Right. So we will
Yes, sir.
certainly
Yeah.
share. We are recording the session, madam. We will find the chat box, and if we have some interesting question, we will certainly share with you and get your answers, and we will share with our participants, madam.
Lakshman sir, there is a problem with your with at your end.
Okay. Hello.
Okay.
Hello. Can't you hear me?
Lakshman sir, your voice is lagging.
Hello.
Yeah,
Can't
we
you?
can, but it's quite.
There is a problem with your at your end. I think your
I
internet
believe
is
Lakshman
unstable.
yeah, Lakshman sir's connection is slow, I think.
Okay, TV Rao sir.
Okay,
Please
ma'am,
invite.
shall I have a minute?
Madam, TV Rao sir.
Yeah.
Professor, okay, Rajshekar sir is in the meeting. Please, okay, can you hear me? Is my voice audible?
Sir, good evening, sir. Okay. Sir, okay. Lakshman sir.
Right. Right. Hello.
Good evening, Rajshekar sir.
Good evening, Venkatesh. How are you?
Sir, really, it's a very happy note, and from your end, you have given us an opportunity to make use of your Zoom session. Really, we are very happy with your help. Today, we could complete this session. Our time is extended, and there is no interruption at all.
I'm so
Really,
sorry
we are. Yeah.
Can I take a minute to thank Rajshekar sir? Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. This is Rajshekar. I just want to congratulate you, Dr. Vanilla. It's wonderful that I could not really attend completely. But I gave the platform to Lakshman sir, so because he wanted to facilitate to all the teachers, English-speaking teachers, so that that way it will benefit you.
I have here, sir, ELTA Telangana. The colleagues that I have are really hardworking. They are energetic. In spite of their teaching responsibilities, they are very they're very interactive, and they never fail to attend an academic event. So I'm inspired with their energy. So thank you for supporting this sort of a webinar series.
Absolutely, and this is a really nice opportunity for me to really serve you all. So I have an opportunity. I have the paid Zoom account so that it doesn't interrupt at 40 minutes break actually. So that's one advantage. So we can co-host and other opportunities.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
So,
Raj,
I think it worked out. 1 second. Hold on.
Sir, I would like to ask a question, sir. Whether
1 second. Hold on.
Anyway,
Mr. Truth.
yes,
Mr. Truth. Hold on. If one person is speaking, let the person finish the speaking. Then you can ask the question. Just wait. Okay. So this is going to be, I think, working. I felt it is going to work. But only thing is some kinks. I think Lakshman and I will discuss on this one. Then we'll fix it. Definitely, if it is going to help the large population, and then also to the more number of minutes you can engage the community, definitely I think I'll be part of this one and I'll help. Okay. So any questions?
Sir,
Mr. Truth, now your
thank
turn now.
you very much, sir. Sorry for the interruption I made. And moreover, sir, a webinar is excellent, sir. Everyone enjoyed it. It was cool going. And moreover, we expect a few webinars like this because, in one go or in one day, of course, madam has excellently presented and it was okay. But if any, step by step webinars are there, we will be able to comprehend and, we imbibe everything very deeply. And so we will be very glad to have one more session, sir. Thank you very much.
Lakshman, I think you should answer this one. So there's nothing.
Right. Okay. TV Rao sir.
Sir, it will be taken care of by us. We'll look into the matter. We'll find another.
Yes.
Sir, you can.
Right. Okay. Can you hear me? Am I audible to you? Hello. Am I audible to you? Hello. Hello.
Okay, sir, there is a problem. I
Yeah,
think your net is a bit slower.
Yes, go ahead, TV Rao sir. You can.
Sir, are you there? Sampath sir, are you there? Sampath sir? Hello, Sampath sir. Okay, Vinay sir. Vinay,
Hello, sir. Hello. Hello.
please, sir. Sir. Hello, Vinay sir.
Hello,
You
sir.
may speak. You may speak.
Okay. Shall I say the vote of thanks, or we can talk about the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
like that?
yeah.
Before the vote
And
of thanks,
both,
can I just
both.
take a minute, 1 minute?
Sure, sir. Welcome.
Okay, sir.
Our participants are eagerly waiting for your words.
Oh, thank you, Andy. It's really great pleasure to see you all. So there's a lot of students, a lot of participants are there. There are 70 participants as of now. I think it was more than that also before. I saw some around 81 or some. One request, everybody. So I see some annotations are going on when the speaker is speaking. Please do respect the speaker and behave like a gentleman or a lady. So make sure that you should not be a bad person in the group. Don't become like that, because these all educated people we are dealing, and we expect some behavior in the class session, in the classroom, physical classroom or digital classroom. That's my actually comment on this one. This is a issue from every this thing. I kept it open, the annotation, actually. Why? Because the speaker can try to highlight anything or to do something on her paper or anything and display. So she can do it, he or she can do it. But unfortunately, if you suppose you want to play it with that one, you play on your own screen and on your own program. That's fine, no problem. Nobody is going to bother you. But thing is, don't bother the class while it's in the session. I hope you all understand. Whoever did that one, please do not repeat that one. That way, at least you behave decently in the class session. I hope it's. I'm very blunt on that one, because I'm a teacher also. I've been teaching for the last 37 years. My background, I taught the engineering people. My background is again when I was in France, and then I came to US. US also, I've been the computer science background. I've been in the university. I work as a university professor in the State University of New York. So that's my daily job. And currently I'm a registrar at the State University of New York in the Fashion Institute of Technology, FIT New York. So I have experience in the teaching and administration both also. So I've been seeing the teachers, the students and teachers. I train the trainers and the teachers also here also in US. So some presidents and vice presidents and also they are part of my class also. So with my experience as a big brother, I'm just telling you all, try to behave yourselves when you're in the class session. So that way, everybody enjoys and learn from each other. So wish all good luck once again. And thank you for giving me opportunity to speak to you all. Wish all good luck.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Really wonderful. We try to follow whatever you say. Sir, Vinay sir, could you
Hello, sir.
could you say vote of thanks?
Yeah. Okay.
Right, please.
Hi everyone, and this is Vinay here. And I take this opportunity to thank the Professor Vanilla and for your kind acceptance of our invitation, and also a wonderful interactive session. And this is definitely helpful for us because we are planning to organize a online conference, and for that we are encouraging the teachers to present their papers. So that is the reason that we have chosen this topic. Thank you, Vanilla. You have given a lot of input for us. Definitely the teachers will prepare their papers. I also take an opportunity to thank the Professor Rajashekaran for providing the Zoom platform for. And I request both of you to continue the same support even in the future also, so that Delta will continue to organize some more webinars and online conferences like that. And I also thank all the participants for their continuous participation. And even they are joining every day. We are organizing the webinars sometimes alternate days and sometimes every day. So most of them are repeated attendees. So I thank everyone for making this webinars a grand success. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. From this platform, I request all the participants. I think you might have seen the they have already posted that we are going to organize one online paper presentation. Those are willing, they can submit their abstracts as early as possible. I think 12th is the last date. Please make it as early as possible. We'll be waiting for your presentation. And one more thing, it's all don't hesitate to do that. We are all in a learning stage. No problem if we go any wrong. Just it will be helpful for us to make presentation in future also. So I request all to come forward, as many as possible come forward and make your whatever that you are doing at your school, that you may present. There may be any success stories in your school. So make use of that and try to present it any manner. It may not be exactly as what ma'am said. Try to do it as much as possible. Thank you, one and all. Lakshman sir, you may take over.
Thank you, Venkateshwar Rao sir. Can you hear me? Is my voice audible?
Okay, it's okay. Now
Right.
it's okay.
Right. Okay. Now here one more important person in the group is Mr. Sampath, who is taking much pain to work in the off screen. Mr. Sampath, are you there? Hello. I think okay. He must have.
He is not responding.
Right.
Might be there is a problem with his
Right.
at his end.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, thank you all the participants and Dr. Vanilla, and a special thanks to Professor Rajashekar sir, who has been supporting for the last 1.5 hours, though he is very busy with his schedule. And thank you one and all, and please resume your support in our future webinars. Thank you one and all. Madam, please.
Lakshman sir, just one point to add to earlier speaker. Kindly do send whatever abstracts, conference papers that are organized, because I think we are all improving and learning all the time. So that fully revised, reviewed products maybe 20 times, 30 times. So I think it's a healthy suggestion that has come up from the ELTA organizers, that we need to just start and not think about when we begin.
Okay, madam. Thank you for your suggestion. I think our participants will follow your suggestions.